I am a huge fucking nerd. That's right, I'm a huge fucking nerd. I like lots of books and computers, cause I am a huge fucking nerd.
One-of-a-kind shades made to order by Vaporshades.com. Vaporshades designs the outer layer of the sunglasses just like a wrap on a car. They customize your sunglasses, marbling the paint. The end result is no two pair of sunglasses are alike. Yours will be completely unique to you. Check us out at Vaporshades.com. Use promo code Tuddle for 15% off your entire order. Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Vaporshades Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. I know a lot of the Northerners that listen to the Tuddle Daily Podcast are probably going to, give me shit about this, but it is freaking cold down here in Florida, especially living here right by the water. The wind is nonstop. But just like stereotypical Florida day, it's going to warm up enough. The sun is really, really hot. I know you guys are having a big blizzard up there. So, if you got any friends or family that are looking for things to do while they're stuck inside because of this goddamn blizzard that you guys are going through up north, let them know. Catch up on the Tuddle Daily Podcast. You can tell them to go to my website, Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with two Ds, Tuddle.net. Yes, I couldn't get .com. Was way too much money, and I just didn't have the budget for it at the moment. There are two ways you can get a hold of me. You can easily email me, Tuddle@gmail.com. Try to get back to everybody that I can, or you can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. Once again, that is 407-270-3044.
Hey, Tuddle, you asked for one of the best love songs for a playlist.
If you don't know what this gentleman is talking about, last Friday, I ended up they paid me. They paid me money to just create a stupid playlist of love songs that you would hear at a wedding. And then I also got to photograph their wedding. Now, I've never been a really big, love song admirer, per se. But I got to tell you, going back through and creating that playlist, when I heard the songs, every single one of them. And after this voicemail, I'll go through what I had on my playlist.
As DJ, this is one right here. Vanessa Williams saved the best for last. I used it in my wedding. I married my wife for 30 years.
Now since that guy brought that up, I cannot even remember remotely. I can't even begin to guess what the song was that we had our first dance after we got married. Now, luckily, I'm not saying luckily I'm not married. It's just oh man, what if I was put on the spot? What if hey, do you remember that song that we had our first dance to? Oh my God, that would cause such a big fight. Next time I talk to my ex-wife, I'll have to ask her. If I had to guess, probably a Dave Matthews song, but I don't know how well Dave Matthews is because she was the biggest Dave Matthews mark.
Probably one of the most romantic songs made my wife melt. If I had the money, I would have hired Miss Williams to play the song live.
Listen, I get it. I'm sure you could not afford the nut back in the day when Vanessa Williams was popular and when you got married. But I'm telling you right now, dude, I don't think Vanessa Williams has much going on right now. I think you renew your wedding vows and you finally get Vanessa Williams. Because I'm telling you right now, I think you could get Vanessa Williams on the cheap, on the down low. On the low, not down low. God, when I try to be cool, I sound like such a fucking nerd.
But she asked for too much. Still, nevertheless, I used the authorized copy of her song at our wedding, and she approved it through her publisher, so...
Screw that, buddy. I'm telling you right now, if she turns you down, play that shit anyways. I didn't know that you needed copyright permission to be able to play somebody's song. I mean, if this would have been the late 90s, early 2000s, any nerd or white kid could burn you a playlist off of Napster or something. You know what? Screw that.
It was a great ceremony. I'm sure you heard this song, but it's a little old school for you probably.
You know what the crazy thing is? I would love to be able to play that song right now. But now that since the Tuddle Daily Podcast is on YouTube, I don't want to get copywritten. I don't want to get flagged because I just am about to get monetized here. So what I'm trying to say is, how are these people getting away with it? Because I've been watching, you know how I brought up the idea about having kids review music? And I'm trying to figure out how people get away with it, because on YouTube, they will review, like I've been watching. I've been on a YouTube vortex of listening and watching African Americans listening to the Beastie Boys for the first time. Now, do I believe for 1 second this is their first reaction of the Beastie Boys? No, because if you're a hip-hop fan, you know exactly who the Beastie Boys is. But I don't understand how these people are able to get away with it. How are they able to use their music in their YouTube videos and review them? I mean, do you have to give them credit? I would like to hear from you. If you know a way of how to get around that, email me, tuddle@gmail.com, or you can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. Coming up after the break, I got a great interview with Joseph Rose, who is a Satanist. I guess he's a part of a Satanist church. And I got some really, really interesting questions for him. But before I go to break, I wanted to play some audio of somebody on the other side. Somebody that is a preacher. They call him the cursing preacher. And the reason I want to play this audio for you is my producer, Vulture, has already reached out, has already heard, some corresponding emails. So hopefully we're going to be able to get him on the show really, really soon.
Hey, what kind of preacher is you?
All right, let me set the scene for you. The cursing preacher is an African-American gentleman. He's got a very, very popular Twitch feed. And I knew as soon as this other African-American woman came at him sideways by, what type of preacher is you? I knew that this was going to be some golden audio. It's going to be amazing, because I could just feel it. Because watching this video, and I will post this on my social media, you could see the reaction as soon as this woman started out the whole conversation. What type of preacher is you?
Why you want to know?
I'm just curious. What kind of preacher is you?
Why are you curious?
Because you cuss too much for me.
Then why are you listening to me?
I already know what a lot of you are already thinking, because if I was a listener or a supporter of the Tuddle Daily Podcast, I'd be like, Tuddle, what the hell are you talking about? If this guy is supposed to be the cursing preacher, why is he not cursing yet? It is a slow buildup. It is a progression. It's like pressure building up in a volcano, and it is coming. I promise you, it is coming.
Because you're kind of ignorant.
Now, let me ask you something else, darling.
Man, if I was the cursing preacher, I'd be like, I don't understand. What does ignorant mean? I mean, are we talking about, like, Minecraft where you get some iron ignot? Like, seriously, I'm just trying to figure this out, because this woman has now said ignorant, and what type of preacher is you?
And ignorant for you if you don't like me to be listening to me? Isn't that pure ignorance?
You kind of ignorant.
No. Listen to me. Answer me. You called me from Gadsden, Alabama, wherever the fuck that is. And you asking me what kind of preacher am I? Are you a Christian?
I asked you first. You answer the question. I asked you.
I'm just Thaddeus.
And no, I promise you, I know, like, listening to this, if you didn't know the backstory, you would think, all right, why is Tuddle playing a Saturday Night Live skit? Because now we've had, can I ask you something, ignorant? What type of preacher is you? Now, I know some of you might think I'm trying to, like, make racist jokes or something about this. No, hell, you know what? There's a lot of things that white people say that sound ignorant as well. If this was a white person, I would be calling them out as well, too. And I promise, like I said before, this is not a Saturday Night Live skit. I repeat, this is not a Saturday Night Live skit, because I'm going to be having the cursing preacher on the Tuddle Daily Podcast really, really soon.
And bitch, you can't talk to me like that. Bitch, you call me.
Okay, let me write this and send this drop to Josh Calley up in Canada. Josh is my production guy. I spoke to him over the weekend, and we're working on some new production pieces. and I wanted him to do a phone solicitation. If you listen to Real Radio 104.1, yes, I know that I'm biting their style with it, but guess what? Everybody's stealing everything. That's the thing about TikTok. TikTok, a lot of people, they'll start these trends, and the people will do the same videos over and over and over again. But I ended up talking to Josh over the weekend. There are a couple of things that I want him to take care of. I want a disclaimer, which Real Radio always played before their shows, and I want some phone solicitations. And this drop has to be included when it comes to the phone solicitation that I want him to do.
Bitch, you called me.
See here, I don't have a voice like a Dan Stone or one of those booming voiceover guy things, so I'm going to do my best. I'm going to see if I can add a little bit of effect to it, and then I want to incorporate that drop to see how it sounds, okay? So here we go, all right. Have you ever wanted to leave Tuddle a voicemail? You can easily do that. 407-270-3044.
Bitch, you called me.
I know that was horrible, but I just wanted to do a voiceover thing, including that drop. I'm sure when Josh gets his hands on it, it's going to sound amazing. I just wanted to, on the fly, kind of show you what it would sound like, and I got to tell you, I think it's a winner.
Let me ask you a question.
No, let's stop where you are, man. No, ma'am, you can't go on. You got to answer where you are, or get the fuck off the phone.
All right, come on, guys. You got to admit, I'm not a religious guy, but I think more people would go to church if preachers like this kept it real. And I'm talking the type of real, you know, that he is laying the pipe to all the blue hairs that are in the congregation, because everybody wants to be with the preacher. They cook food for the preacher. They give the preacher money. I know that you're not supposed to worship false idols or whatever, but you know, like, they all want some of that preacher dick.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. You think preacher, you telling me that?
No, baby.
I am so glad I came across this clip, because this is a Shoney's buffet of drops that I'm going to be able to give to my production guy, Josh. I mean, think of the possibilities with this drop.
No, baby.
For the most part, when you went to a Shoney's buffet, it was a family affair. Your grandma would be like, did you try some of that? Nah, baby. No, grandma, I got filled up. Bitch, you called me.
Bitch, you called me. You asked me, am I saved? Why the fuck are you concerned about my salvation?
Because why are you leading people with that kind of language that you're using on TV?
Because I call you a fucking no-legged bitch.
Did he just call her a no-legged bitch? Like, I don't know. Like, is that like a cut down in the black community? You no-legged bitch.
Knock-needed hoe. You don't like that?
And you think you're going to heaven?
Yes. I'm going to heaven calling you an ugly, weed-wearing, a false eyelash-wearing bitch. I'm going to heaven.
All right, so stay tuned. We're going to have the cursing preacher on. My producer, Vulture, has a pretty much 100% kill rate when it comes to getting me guests on the show. So I'm looking forward to that. When I come back after the break, I have an interview with Joseph, who is a Satanist, and he's a part of a Satanist church. And I just want to ask him some questions. Like, does he, like, really, really believe in Beelzebub and Satan in the physical form? Stay tuned, because you're going to hear that. You are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
He's a nerd,
I've only been arrested one time.
a radio personality,
Professionally, I'm not in the best position that I've ever been in.
and hot talk satirizer.
You would think with everything that's going on, a Caucasian like myself wouldn't be able to randomly talk to an African American or a minority.
You're listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Wish you could have just flown and had your vehicle arrive a day or two later so you can enjoy more time doing what's important to you? Well, you can. Just give Starfire Transport a call. Let the professionals do the driving while you're flying. Starfire Transport specializes in RV and auto transport. They'll also haul watercraft from boats to PWCs, cargo trailers, and more. Service available throughout the continental United States. So don't wait. Call Brian today at 574-349-4193 or 989-751-6106 for your next move. 10% off for veterans past or present. Also, make sure to tell them Tuddle sent you for an additional discount. That's Starfire Transport.
All right, guys. I'm kind of a little frazzled right now. All right, so I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. I've been taking care of my parents during the pandemic, and I'll just be straight up honest. I forgot your name, but I know that you're into Satan, and I have so many questions for you. So tell people your name and where they can catch out all your content, sir.
My name is Joseph Rose.
Joseph Rose, and I just saw a picture of you, and I got to tell you. All right, so just going by first look here.
Sure.
You do not look like somebody that you would think is a Satanist.
That's perfect.
No, but I mean, is that a good thing or bad thing in your world?
In my world, that's a good thing.
Because you want to be undercover if you have to be. I mean, because you gotta admit, like, even though we're a country here in the United States, and we'll get to your plugs, but I gotta get into this. So, even though we're a country, it's supposed to be freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, and stuff like that. That we all are Christians. They automatically think we're all Christians and stuff. So does that make it hard for you at all, or?
It certainly does in some ways, but the part about sort of being undercover doesn't really apply in my case. I'm about as out there of a Satanist as one could be.
See, that's the thing I like about Satanists, that they let you know what they're into, though. Like, seriously, they're not one of those. See, because there are a lot of undercover racists here. I'm not comparing Satanists to racists. Okay, please. I'm not saying that, but you look at a lot of racists. They're all undercover. They don't own it. Like, they don't own it. I would rather them just be out and about with it, right?
I would as well, yeah.
And you guys are out there letting your feelings know. Now, if people want to check out your content, find out more about Satanism, is that the correct phrase? Because I want to be respectful.
Satanism?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. Yeah.
Okay, so tell people if they want to learn more. I'm sure you talk a lot about it on your website. Where can they check you out? You have a podcast as well, too, I think. Where can people check out any of that content?
Yeah, I host a podcast called Hail Satan, and you can find everything you need to know about it at hailsatanpodcast.com.
All right, so I got to start off. So when were you first introduced to Satan? Like, why? Tell me what drew you, how you decided to go in that direction.
Well, I assume, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume we're starting at complete ground zero as far as your like knowledge or familiarity with modern Satanism, right?
No. So all right. So hear me out. This is how I feel about things. Okay. Let me get, you know what? It might be easier for me to give you my background.
Sure.
Okay. Do not believe in God. Do not at all. And please hear me out. Like I'm very, very interested because I'm a man of science. Okay. The one thing that I like the most about Neil deGrasse Tyson and Carl Sagan and them, even though they did not believe in a higher being, they never said that the possibilities of one not being there, because the absence of proof that it doesn't exist, they can't say that for sure because they're a man of science. Right. So, but I don't believe in really anything. I think that there is a higher power somewhere. And I also know, like, if you're going to have light, you have to have darkness. If you're going to have good, you have to have bad. Do you guys get a bad rap? I mean, do people think that Satanists are just evil and bad?
Of course. Yeah. That's the mainstream sort of basic perception.
Well, tell me, like, give me an idea. What is everybody about? Because I just believe that
Well, it's safe to say you're an atheist, right? Is that what? Is that a term?
No. I believe in something of a higher power because, like I said, okay, this is the whole thing. I believe in the Big Bang, but we still can't figure out what become of that. Okay, right. And this has always been one of the things that I've used when I don't believe. Okay, so if God, you can't get something out of nothing. Would you agree? Like, I mean, just logically, you can't get something out of nothing. Correct?
Sure.
What came before
I will
God?
say that my theory about the beginnings of the universe and all of that stuff, to simplify my answer about how all that can be explained, is a big, crystal clear, I don't know. That is my answer.
Okay,
and
so but
just
what
for
I'm saying is,
just so we.
Right.
We may be more on the same page than you would think coming into this.
That's why I wanted to talk to you.
So you understand, I am an atheist. I do not believe in God. I do not believe in the devil. I do not believe in the supernatural.
But Satanists, though, like, I mean, all right. So then explain then, because I was like, I got to talk to a Satanist because I got to find out like what they're into and stuff. And I want to hear it because I'm really, really interested. I'm not one of those radio guys that wanted to have you on to debate you.
Sure.
I want to hear you out. I want to hear what you have to say because I'm really intrigued. Hell, you know what? After I get done talking with you, I might be a Satanist. Who knows?
I think you might be a lot closer than you think.
Okay, so explain, sell me. Okay, so say I'm going to the Satanist used car lot because I'm not buying a brand new car. Okay, so I go and I'm looking for a religion. Okay, I got now. Is Satanism a religion? Do you guys? Okay, so say I'm on the car lot. Okay. And I want like Judaism, Hindu, any of that stuff out there. What are you going to tell me that's going to put me in a brand new, or not a brand new, but a used Satanist car?
Well, there's a couple of basics. So when you say Satanism, generally as a blanket term, I guess
Satan, devil.
We'll do a simple, the most obvious comparison is Christianity. Okay, so if you say I'm a Christian, that has one basic big meaning, but it can mean a lot of different little things. You have your Catholics and your Protestants and your Baptists, and there's a whole lot of differences going on there, right?
All the wars in the world have been fought over religion, and all the kids that have been raped and abused by the Catholic Church. None of those assholes have done a day in jail, and our government is giving them money, bailout money. I get a lot of hate on this one, that I think churches should be taxed. They should. Yeah, I mean, why is Joel Osteen driving around or flying around on a private jet, $2,000 suits, and he couldn't be even bothered to open his doors up during Hurricane Harvey that just ravaged Houston?
Yeah. I agree. It's not a good look. So on that point, you say Satanism, there's a few things that could mean. On one hand, it could mean there are theistic Satanists out there. And, I don't know any.
Can you explain theist?
I will. Theistic. Okay. That means people that believe in an actual Satan. They believe in a demon.
The one that we know with the big bull horns and
something like that. They believe in an actual. They believe in an actual being of some kind that is Satan, and I guess they worship him.
I got to tell you, the closest was Matt and the guys from South Park. Their Satan was like, if I was, if that is what Satan's really like, I'm like, I want to hang out with him.
Right. So I don't know any of those guys. I don't know any theistic Satanists. I'm going to assume there's not many of them out there, but I'm sure there's a few. And then we've got what is generally referred to as modern Satanism. And that began in the 1960s with the Church of Satan, which was founded by Anton LaVey.
Now, where is Anton LaVey from? Was he an immigrant? I mean, that does not sound like what you would talk that English Protestant type people that came over.
Anton LaVey was an altered bullshit name that he used. His name.
So it's an alter ego.
Yeah, he sort of changed. I forget. I think it was maybe Anthony Stanton Levy was his actual
he went
name.
Antov, man. That is like, and this was back in the 60s, you said?
This was in the 60s. 1966, I believe, he founded the Church of Satan.
He might have been the first hipster like that, like uses a cool abbreviation of his name.
So that organization, you may have, in your travels, you may have heard of the Satanic Bible. And
yes,
that was written by Anton. That was his deal. And,
now, okay, and I want to hear more about this, but it kind of sounds, I mean, it has a lot of comparisons to Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard writing a book, but I'm sure his book came out before L. Ron Hubbard's, though, right?
I don't have a lot of knowledge about L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology.
Well, Scientology is really big. Scientology, I'm almost pretty sure. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it was after it. So L. Ron Hubbard kind of bit on Antov's style there. All right, I digress. Because I'm fascinated by this because I want to learn more. I really do.
Yeah, so that was in the 60s. Anton wrote the Satanic Bible and formed the Church of Satan. And they are an atheistic group. They do not believe in God or the devil. And they use Satan as a sort of metaphor.
All right, so what's the metaphor, though? Like, can you, like, put the connect? I mean, so...
Well, I'll explain a little
okay,
more.
yeah. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Moving forward a bit, many years, in 2013, an organization was officially started called the Satanic Temple. And that is the organization of which I am a member. And I align with their ideals. And they are significantly different in their general attitude, let's say.
Give me some of the important, like, things that they do. Like, what are the most important things to the group that you're a part of?
Well, Christianity has the 10 commandments, right? Those are the things that everybody falls back on, and the 10 basic things that, set the foundation for that religion.
Nobody loves their neighbor, so that was a real bullshit part of the commandment.
Right. Yeah. And so in the Satanic Temple, we have the 7 tenets.
Okay, I got to hear this.
That we adhere to. Would you want to get into?
Yeah,
the
no,
7
I know,
tenets?
no, yes, yeah. I mean, I don't need like a 10-minute dissertation on each one.
I can give you one at a time, and you can let me know what you think about it if you like.
Yeah. I mean, just let's give me the Cliff Notes version because see, that's the thing about like you're trying to. Well, I'm not saying we're role playing here. We're still on the car lie. You're trying to put me in your religion or whatever you call it. So yeah, just briefly give me the Cliff Notes, because when people drone on and on and on, that's when you lose people. So sure. I definitely want to hear these.
Well, our first tenet is maybe amongst the most important, I would say, and it is simply: one should strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason.
Okay, so all right, so the wording of that. Now, I do agree with you. I do agree with you when it comes to humans and stuff. And I love animals as well, too, but I also eat animals. Like, so are you guys vegetarians?
No. You'll notice at the end of that tenet, it says in accordance with reason.
Oh, okay. So reason would be I got to eat this thing to be able to survive.
Well, we're humans. We're omnivores. We're doing what we're designed to do. I see no problem with it at all.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, listen, you know what? You got me on board right now with that first one. So all right, let's see how many more I have in common, because right now I'm sold off of the first one.
Number 2 is the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions.
All right. So you might be a little mixed on this one with me. Okay. So what does that mean? Do you guys believe in anarchy then?
No, I certainly wouldn't say anarchy. But I mean, it's safe to say that we want to have justice. If you want to simplify it down to the very basics, justice is a thing worth pursuing.
Oh, of course.
And that's what we want.
All right, so, but I mean, give me an example, like justice, like
for example, when the laws of the land say black people can't vote,
Oh,
we
yes.
think, we think that's bullshit, and we need to change that.
Okay, then, all right. Then I'm on board with number 2. I mean, you're 2 for 2 right now. Then yes, I'm 2 for 2. I mean, like, listen, I'm already calling my wife right now. Well, this is all role playing because I'm divorced now, which is all a whole different story. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm calling my wife now, and I'm like, honey, man, this guy's telling me a lot of great things about this Satan car. And I think I'm going to buy it. Yeah. So I just need you to be ready, because when I pull the trigger, I'm going to call and I'm going to ask you. So I got to hear number 3 here.
Number 3 is a short one. It is one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone.
So that means you guys don't believe in rape and pillaging and stuff like that. Then.
We definitely don't like rape. And we also strongly believe that if you're a woman and you want to have an abortion, you should be able to get one.
Okay, got it. All right. So, all right. I'm 3 for 3 on this one now. Okay. So what? You said there's 7, right?
There are 7.
Okay. So I mean, if we're going like straight up odds here, NBA finals here, I mean, you're about to sweep me on this whole thing. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like, I mean, you only got to win 1 out of the next 4 of these rules and laws.
Number 4 is it's maybe the most controversial one. It's the one that I get asked about the most.
All right.
Number 4 is the freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego one's own.
All right. So I gotta tell you, you swept me, because and okay, so I get a lot of heat about this, and by heat I mean I get a lot of flack. All right, so you know, I completely am against racism. Okay, I think it's horrible. Now I am also, because I've been in broadcasting for 22 years of my life, I also believe in absolute freedom of speech. Okay. And if you look at the definition of the First Amendment, is the protection of unpopular speech. Okay.
Yep.
Now, as long as somebody is not physically hurting somebody or keeping them from making a living or providing for their family, and they're just racist and they hate somebody, do I agree with it? No, but it's their right. If they do not choose to like somebody, do I agree with it? No, but I mean, that's your choice. As long as you're not physically hurting them or affecting their life personally, you can hate all you want to. And and a lot of people, you know, growing up in the South, you would think that, I see, because I'm like a little bit of an anomaly. I'm a nerd. But I know how to live off the land. I've done a lot of redneck Southern things around there, but I've never been racist. I transgender does not bother me. I have a great friend that is transgender. I worked in Orlando all my life. Homosexuals, lesbian, and just that whole range. Like, and none of that bothers me. That's what you want to do. And I got to tell you, you got me 4. So you've already won me over, but I want to see if you can go for a perfect 7 here.
Sure. Number 5 is beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's beliefs.
So all right. So kind of break that down, because I love science. Okay. And scientists, like, they'll all have theories, they all have hypotheses and stuff like that, but I mean, if there's still, I mean, it's kind of like the court of law a little bit. If there's reasonable doubt, you can't say that it doesn't exist. And that brings me back to the thing about talking about a higher power or something. You know, but I have a hard time believing it, because if there is a higher power out there, and he's supposed to be controlling of everything, which what the Bible says, then why explain 2020 to me? Because you can't tell me that Nobody died. So you're trying. This is what I tell people. So you're telling me no, like good Christians that pray every night, live by the 10 Commandments, go to church, pray, they tithe, they do communion, all that stuff. None of them died from corona or just died of something, some horrible natural disaster or something. I mean, so what about those people?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of bullshit, right?
No, I mean, but hear me out though, Joseph, though. I do not judge the people that do believe. Now, is that something your group believes in? Like, I mean, you guys don't go out and like troll Christians, right? I mean, let them do their thing, right? I mean, is that kind of what you guys believe?
I believe everybody is free to believe whatever they want to believe. And this organization that we're talking about, the Satanic Temple, they definitely do their fair share of what some people call trolling as it relates to sort of political activism and things like that.
But do you guys get fucked with though?
Oh, relentlessly.
Okay,
relentlessly.
So now is it just retaliation?
Well, no, on a personal level, there's no, we're not anti-Christian or anything like that. I can only speak for myself on a personal level. When I hear the stories of, walk on water, back from the dead, all of that, my brain says bullshit.
Oh yeah, no. I agree. Here, let me give you an example. Okay.
Sure.
My mom and dad, they live in a park here in Florida, and here in Florida we have a lot of snowbirds come down. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people up north are Catholic. All right. And this couple that I adore, I absolutely adore. And the funny thing about it is I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to blow anybody in on this, but the guy is a professor of science. He works in the scientific field. Okay. And his wife is a very, very big Catholic, but they are both Catholic. Okay. And I made a snide comment. Like I made a comment. I was like, how can you support that institution when, I mean, it's out there that they've raped kids, abused kids and stuff. And then they just pay them off and none of them have done a day in jail. They're not paying taxes. They're getting bailouts from our government. And she got a little upset. And you know what, though? Being the person that I am, I knew that I messed up because it was not my place to make her feel bad.
Sure.
I know them. Do I feel like they support that type of stuff? No, I really don't think that they do. And it was just not my place to say. And I went back and apologized.
Yeah. I know a lot of Christians. I'm friends with Christians. I certainly would never make it a habit of attacking them for their religion. I wouldn't really make it a point to do that generally to anyone.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So what number did we do? Just do
that was number 5.
That was number 5. All right. I mean, you got me 5-0 right now. I'm not going to commit. Like, you know what? Like, this is what's going to happen right now. We're 5-0. Okay. And I'm trying to play hardball on you. Like I'm trying to make you think I'm walking away from this deal right now. And that's not it. But like, I want to hear it out. I mean, you go 7-0. I'm probably still going to tell you, hey, let me sleep on it. Sure. I got to talk to the old lady, but I can't wait to hear the next.
Number 6 is people are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused.
Now, do you guys believe in? All right, so say that one more time. I just want to like digest that a little bit. I want to.
That one says people are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused.
Okay, so.
It means if you fuck up, you should do your best to fix it.
Okay, but should people still have to be responsible? Like, I mean, there's mistakes. Like, I mean, I could shoot somebody and oh, that was a mistake.
Right.
Like, I mean, do you guys live by these are like, what did you describe these? In the Christianity, they call them commandments, but like
we call these the 7 tenets.
Are the tenets? And by the way, my favorite doctor on Doctor Who was David Tennant. So you've got me even sold even more. So, but I mean, do you guys live by a set of laws though? Like, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not do this, and
we live by the laws of the land.
Okay, so are there any laws in America that your group does not agree with?
Oh, well, we might disagree with laws for sure, but
you believe in the political process is what you're saying.
Sure. The Satanic Temple is very involved in the political process.
Do they do? All right, I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, do they donate to any political party or campaign?
So a couple things about the Satanic Temple. First of all, they are recognized by the government as a tax-exempt religious organization.
Oh, that's good, because I would say that is complete bullshit. Like, if you guys had to pay taxes and the churches did not, I was going to be absolutely pissed.
Yeah, well, the Satanic Temple, a primary goal of theirs, or a primary ideal, is the separation of church and state. Yep. They want separation of church and state. You
got me, man.
But
I'm
as
telling
a
you right now,
secondary,
I don't know why I've not like gotten on this train, because like, I mean, you guys seem like pretty cool. All right, so let me ask you, your group, what about pot? Like, I mean, is that okay? And y'all's like run around. It. Okay, so I mean, it comes out of the ground, right? Like, it's natural. Like, I mean, mushrooms, psychedelic stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, okay, so do a little bit of weed if you want to do some mushrooms, but I'm just talking about the process stuff, so it's just, it's really, really weird. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off track there, but I seriously wanted to know, like, I mean, do you guys like accept marijuana and like stuff like that?
Of course, yeah.
What about sacrifices? Is that a myth, a legend? Like, just something they like? No sacrifices you've ever been to?
I've only witnessed one thing involving a sacrifice, and
please don't tell me it was a virgin.
I was at a ritual, and it was a bit of an initiation for a local bunch, and as part of it, you did need to offer up a small piece of hair. You had to just give a little piece of your hair, and it was just sort of for fun and sort of symbolic.
Oh, okay.
But no, we don't do any baby eating or animal murder.
All right, cool.
Yeah, none of that.
Now, like, do you get extra points? Like, if you got to give up hair, like, what if you just like, man, you don't even blink, you don't even make any emotion, and you just pull out a big patch of pubic hair? I got to tell you I think that would get you points.
I wouldn't do it, but I guess it would count.
I mean, that's a real sensitive area. That hair is really tough, and it's in there. Like, it's rooted like a palm tree.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm sorry if I'm making stupid jokes, but like, what I'm trying to say is, like, I mean, basically, it just seems like you guys are a bunch of cool people.
I like to think so.
No, like the type of people like I would like to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think we're a pretty fun, welcoming bunch.
Is it a smear campaign by Christianity? Like,
it's a couple of things. It's one, so much of American society is rooted in Christianity, and they they paint Satan in a certain way. And then the other part of it is what we refer to as the Satanic Panic, particularly of the 80s and 90s, where, pop culture.
What type of music do you guys listen to? Because you bring up pop culture. Like, all right, so
we listen to everything.
Is it the stereotypical death metal? Like, or like,
we got a lot of people that listen to death metal. I certainly.
What about like
indie
folk, like singer songwriter Mumford and Sons? I mean, it's all over the place. Then, right?
We are as varied as you could possibly imagine in every way.
Are there any that are country music fans?
Because
that would be badass. Like, I mean, look at Charlie Daniels. He wrote Devil Went Down to Georgia whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
All kinds of music have devil related songs.
Now, is it true about all the, like all the bands? Was it urban legend that, like, if you played it backwards and stuff, they were putting like messages out?
All of the ones that reached the mainstream news were all bullshit. Back in the day, Judas Priest, Ozzy, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff, bullshit. Have bands ever intentionally put backwards messages in a song? Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. I hope so.
All right. So, like, what would be, all right, in your group, because you said you're all over the place. Like, I mean, who would be the one guy? Like, if he held a concert, you know, the Beastie Boys, because I just watched the Beastie Boys document. It wasn't even really a documentary. It was the two surviving members on stage. They were like commenting on clips and stuff. And like, you know, how they did that whole Tibetan like relief concert type deal that they did for a while there. Like, all right, so if you were gonna, what artist would headline like a satanic music festival?
Oh, let's see. Well, I am a fan of the band Ghost, and they
Ghost.
are very outwardly satanic in their presentation. They're very theatrical.
Can I find them on iTunes or like
they're
Spotify
everywhere. They're
or
a big band. They tour, you know, arenas and sell them out.
So is Marilyn Manson a poser when it comes to that whole thing? See, because you're holding up the devil horns in your picture here that I'm seeing.
Yes.
So I know that you're into the heavy metal.
I love everything though. I love music more than just
I do too.
anything.
I do too. Like I've been going back and forth, like, you know, because every generation thinks their music is the best, right? I mean, because my teenage years, and when you think like everybody considers like their teenage years, and it's kind of sad, but like those are the years that you're imprinted with your personality. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, for sure. I host another podcast that is a music podcast, and it's all over the map.
Shit.
But
How
a lot
old
of
are you,
our
by the
folks-
way?
I'm 43.
Okay, so you were in the 90s. I claimed that the 90s had some of the best, because everybody, 60s, Love and Peace, 70s, all that stuff, 80s, that was a weird time.
Oh, yeah, the
a lot
early
of the
90s.
music,
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is like, I don't want people, because see, that's also the other thing. People are like, oh, you're going to say Nirvana kind of changed and set up the evolution of rock and roll music there for a while, because they went to that grunge stuff, that dirty guitar, and then it evolved into a hybrid of rap rock, and then you had Biscuit and Korn and all those, Linkin Park. So the 90s set up a lot of the music that you're hearing right now, and not even to mention in the 90s, hip hop was amazing. They actually talked about things, and it wasn't about what I got and you do not have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite era of hip hop, I would say.
Oh, and it was, I mean, you had, could you only imagine Big and Tupac being around right now with the year that we had in 2020?
Yeah.
With all the civil, could you imagine the music that NWA could have put out then? Oh my God, it would have been amazing.
I agree. Yeah. Stuff like Rage Against the Machine. I love Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains.
Who is your most influential
Black Sabbath fan?
Who do you think is the most influential band from the 90s?
Influential?
Most important. Let's just go most important. That did a lot for music.
I'm probably biased, but you know, amongst my favorite bands are Pearl Jam, but Soundgarden is right there behind them. And Alice in Chains too. All of those guys. Nirvana, I recognize how huge and important Nirvana was, but on a personal level, I just got problems with Nirvana.
Why though? Like, see, because I have these problems because I've talked about this. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, that band sold out. That band sold out," and it's like, if you're a fan of a band, you should want them to be as big as they can be, right? I mean,
yeah, I have no problem with that. Yeah, like I'm a huge Metallica fan, and no band gets called a sellout more than Metallica.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do. I'm not calling them sellout. I'm just saying. Listen, I mean. There's a lot of bands that could be considered sellouts. Like, here, I'll give you an example. In the 90s, Weezer was one of my favorite bands, okay? Now, they still wrote some pretty catchy things, but it was nothing compared because it became a little poppy. But I was still happy for them.
Sure. Yeah, I think if you're a creative artist, you should make whatever kind of art you feel like making. And if it's catchy and poppy, then so be it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Joseph, let people once again, because I got to tell you, man, you want me to be honest? This is what I take from this conversation. You guys want to just be left alone. You're not going to fuck with anybody else. You don't care what anybody else believes. Don't infringe on my rights, my personal freedoms. And we're going to be cool. I'm going to respect you if you respect me. And I got to tell you, I mean, that's a pretty simple way. I mean, basically it's pretty much the golden rule. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Certainly a part of it, yeah.
Man, this has been a great conversation, Joseph, because when I went into it, I'll admit, I had this thing. I was like, and I'll admit, one of the main reasons I took this interview, but I'm glad that I did, because this has been a great conversation. But I was hoping for somebody that was like, yeah, Satan. Because I had so many questions. Like, I wanted to ask, like, who's got a bigger dick, God or Satan? You know, like I had a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to ask. So, so what I'm trying to say is, this interview went in a different direction than I thought, but I still think it's great because you got to clear the air. You got to tell people, like, you want me to be honest, you guys are cooler than the Catholics.
That's not even close.
Yeah. Like, what would you do if, like, all right, so say, okay, so this, and then I do, because my producer is going to kill me, Vulture, for going way too long. But what I'm trying to say is that, so in the Catholic religion, they got priests, cardinals, all like, what are your leaders called?
We don't really have anything like that.
Oh, so
yeah,
so
we don't have a structure like that.
But like, what would you guys do? Like, if you found out one of your members like raped the kid, like, you guys wouldn't pay off anybody. Like, you guys would turn that motherfucker in, right? I mean, yeah,
they should probably be punished to the fullest extent of the law, I would say.
Does your group believe in the death penalty?
I don't know if there's an official stance. Those 7 tenets are very intentionally left open to interpretation. So I'm sure you would find.
Sounds like
Satanists...
you guys wrote the same guys that wrote your rules wrote the rules for the FCC. It's kind of like a gray area there. Like, just be cool, but like, I mean, you could mess up a little bit as long as it's not that bad. But I mean, that was one of the tenets, right? Like, I mean, mistakes are mistakes.
That's right.
As long as it wasn't something intentional. You know, like I tell people, you know, like, yeah, I mean, if you get like bosses, my dad always told me, he's like, if you make a mistake, don't make the same mistake twice. You know, so you guys are basically saying, all right, so if it's a true mistake, then we're gonna let you slide on it. Just don't make it happen again.
Yeah. I mean, we certainly don't claim to operate outside of the law in any way. So if you go ahead and kill someone, you're probably going to have to pay the price for that.
So it just basically seems like you want to be cool with everybody, which I can dig.
Compassion and empathy. That's how we want to treat people.
Joseph, once again, tell people how they can check out your content.
You guys can find everything at hailsatanpodcast.com.
I mean, that's, and I got to tell you, did you get in on that one early? How did you get hailsatan.com?
I was shocked. I was shocked that there wasn't something called Hail Satan already.
No, but like, okay, so I know I've already said this all, but like, I got in on, because my name is Tuddle, Tuddle. A lot of people spell sometimes with 2 T's.
Right.
But I was able, all my social media, even going back to MySpace, was myspace.com/Tuddle, facebook.com/Tuddle, twitter.com, even my email, my Gmail is Tuddle@gmail.com. Like, I didn't have to like add numbers or weird characters to get in on things. So I think that's really, really cool. Oh, why? Well, especially with my ADHD and my OCDs, it bugs the shit out of me. Even though it's listen, my web producer is amazing. He's made that site, but it's Tuddle.net. They wanted too much for Tuddle.com, and you know that shit was because of me. Like, it could be the only reason. There's no other, and I don't consider myself famous, but I think I am the most famous Tuddle.
That's probably true.
I'm just saying. Well, Joseph, dude, I gotta tell, are you on any of the social media and stuff?
Yeah, I'm on all. If you go to the website, it has links to all of the social media platforms.
Okay, I'm gonna go on there. I'm gonna give you a follow, because I gotta tell you, you seem like a really cool dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Joseph, have a wonderful day, and I'm gonna have you on again. Okay.
Anytime. Thanks.
From the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp.
Man, maybe I would have way more sex partners in my life if I just threw caution to the wind.
It's the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Tuddle's Daily Podcast is brought to you by StitchYouUp.com. For your embroidery, screen printing, vinyl, and direct-to-garment printing needs, visit StitchYouUp.com. Stitch You Up specializes in custom caps, shirts, decals, and anything you want to personalize. Whether it's one item or large orders, they can handle any size. Unsure about what you want? Let Stitch You Up help you with your logo design. Visit StitchYouUp.com or contact them, Eric@StitchYouUp.com. Stitch You Up. Definitely not your grandma's embroidery.
All right, guys, final segment of the day. And before I go, I want to talk to you and let you know you need to subscribe to my YouTube page, youtube.com/Tuddle. Now, this is also a very important part. When you subscribe, you're going to want to hit that bell button, because when you hit that bell button, you're going to get alerted every time I put up any new uploads or I go live. Now, I did one of my first live streams in quite a while last night, and it was really, really good. And I plan on doing those because I'm getting the show done earlier and earlier every single day, so I can start doing a live stream on my YouTube channel. So help spread the word. The Tuddle Daily Podcast can now be heard on YouTube, youtube.com/Tuddle. And I'm doing a live stream every single night. So if you don't want to miss out, even if you miss out, you're still going to be able to go back and watch it. So I want to thank all of my supporters. This show has grown tremendously, and I'm excited, so excited for the future of this show. And I can't thank you enough. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.